Hi everyone. Right, well, I've got a lovely project to do today. I've been dying to do this little area here at the back of my house. It's just a little courtyard area. For anyone who's new to the channel, I'll just give you a quick explanation as to what this area is used for. So it's very high traffic. It has the doors from our conservatory um, out into the main garden. So we have to get the pushchair through here for my grandson. It's behind you is the door to the side door to my garage. Um, this is my rotor stack where I hang all my washing out on a daily basis, usually weather permitting. Um, and there is no soil in this area. Everything is grown in pots. It's just sort of block paving on the bottom. It gets very, very little sunshine, very early morning watery sun here. And then by about, I would say 10:30 in the morning, it goes into deep shade. And then round here, you might get sun until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Once the sun goes round the side of the house, that's it. This is deep shade. So I grow things that love shade. So I grow heucheras, I grow lots of ferns, I grow lovely aces. I love aces. Astilbes or astilbes, brunneras. What else? What else have I got? Oh, lots of hostas in the spring. In the spring, I can fill it up with tubs of tulips and daffs, and they last for a long time because it's cool and shady. But for a couple of weeks now, this little courtyard has started to look, well, is looking very, very tired. Some of the, well, you may think that's a right mess. But actually, I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and I'm going to show you round. And actually, when you look at it in detail, there are just certain plants that are making the courtyard look a mess, and that's because they've done what they need to do for the year. They're finished, they've gone over. If they were in a much bigger space, these plants that have gone over, you probably wouldn't even notice them. But when you've got a few plants going over in and looking very bedraggled and tired in a very small space, I find that it casts that sort of jaded glow over the whole garden. Whereas actually that's unfair. There are lots of plants in this courtyard which will carry on looking beautiful right up until late autumn. So I'll show you around the garden. So I'll also put in the description box below, I'll put links that you just click on to the videos where I've dressed this courtyard, because it has looked stunning, as I say, right up until about a fortnight ago. So I have a tree fern there. I also put in the description box links to the videos where there's a video about plant stands. It shows you what I use to stand these plants on to get sort of elevation. So these are just old tables, and that's an old crate that I painted black. This is my tree fern, which he's only about 4 foot tall, but I've popped him on that table there, and he's about, I would say that's 10 foot tall up there. And at the base of him, this has been viola freckles, but you see the caterpillars and everything have had a good munch there. Got a lovely shrub here, which is still looking lovely. And then I've got this tub of ferns. This tub of ferns here is still beautiful. And usually what happens in my courtyard is my ferns just age really gracefully. So the leaves take on a sort of lovely coppery colour, and they carry me right through in this courtyard until sort of late autumn, sometimes the first frosts. But they still look beautiful. They start, you can just see the tips of that. It's changing from deep green at the base to yellow with some brown speckles on. And they're really beautiful, usually. But a lot of my ferns this year have gone like this, and I just don't understand why. So like really weird textured leaves in the middle, as if they're new and then they've just come up and been stunted. I've been cutting back the ferns in this tub for a while now. And my thinking is, with regards to my ferns, is that a lot of this brown kizened leaf could be due to weather conditions. We have had a strange summer, to say the least, here in the UK. So we've had torrential rain and then weeks of dry. And then we've had a lot of very warm, drying wind. And particularly up in the northeast of England, we're not used to those kind of weather conditions. So it could be something like that. But usually when your plants have behaved in a way for years in the same way, and you know what to expect, and then they suddenly start behaving differently, that it could be something other than the weather. And my thinking here is that maybe they've just outgrown their containers. Because as I've shown you, there are 3 ferns in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip these ferns out, split them up, put some new soil in the container, and then replant them in individual containers and just give that root ball some more room to grow. Right, so I'll get back to taking you around the courtyard. So this beautiful Acer here, he has been beautiful. He has looked like this lovely vibrant red colour, but look at how kizened his leaves are now, and that is wind damage. Acers just don't like the wind. Same with this little one up here, but I'm not worried. It's happened before, and when he loses his leaves this year, he'll be fine. I don't overwinter them inside anymore. They'll survive here in the northeast of England outside. And when he comes back next year, he will be all lovely and fresh again. But you can see sort of this Acer, that Acer, and that fern. That's what my eye is drawn to. Not the beautiful fern here and this lovely shrub, whatever that is. And then you add to that mix some very tired looking hosta leaves, right? And these have been beautiful, but you know, well past their best now. Let me come round here. Now that's a beautiful heuchera in there. Snap the dead stems of the flower stems off, but the foliage is still lovely. But he's next to this one, which obviously is horrendous, which is in front of that one. But then look what's next to it, this beautiful, beautiful Acer, which doesn't seem to have been damaged by the wind. And then up here, this is my beautiful new little hosta that my husband bought me, called Mouse Ears, which is all nibbled away. Got a nice little foxglove growing in there. This hosta here has been fabulous, but the flowers are finished, the leaves are finished. But then he's next to this, which is an asparagus fern, and actually usually lives indoors. And he was looking really poorly very early this year. Popped him outside and he's just loved it here in the shade. So he's lovely. That Acer's lovely. Then I've got a lovely big shaggy box here. He's gorgeous. Beautiful Acer here. Oops, tripping over a plant stand there. He's gorgeous. Then down here I've got a lovely hydrangea. But next to a tub with a very tired looking brunnera there. Some dead plants in pots there. Then we come round here. This is an astleby where the flowers have obviously finished. But what I might do is just cut the flowers off and see what the foliage looks like then. We've got some geranium cuttings there, some more ravaged hostas. That has been a beautiful geranium which needs a good cut back. He's finished. But then look at these two beautiful aces here. I'll move the tripod out the way. So absolutely gorgeous. And this one here, which has a beautiful, it's half black leaves and half green. And last but not least, my heuchera ladder. So again, I'll put the link to how I made this. Well, I'll use that term, made loosely. I stood the ladder up and screwed some pots to it, and then the black pots are screwed to the rungs of the ladder, and then I just drop in whatever plant is in season. So in the spring I had it all dressed out with spring bulbs. Then down here, this has been beautiful, this gorgeous heuchera here, but he's looking a bit sorry for himself now. And then buried in amongst it is this gorgeous sedum. This is a variegated London Pride. So this whole tub could do with just taken to bits and then the plants planted up separately. The heucheras have done really well considering, and I say considering because about 2 months ago I noticed there were two little wrens and they've made a nest, or they made a nest in there. Can you see? So they would come, swoop in at the base of the ladder and then shoot up the back here and go into the nest there. So for about 2 months, I never watered this area. I still had to come out and hang my washing out, and you think, why make a nest there? So that's the garage door. We were in and out that all the time. Anyway, they must have had second thoughts because they built the nest and then they just sort of disappeared. But I still left it alone just in case they returned. But they must have thought, no, this is far too busy an area to set up shop. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull out all of the plants that have finished, and then we'll see what we've got left, and then I'll arrange that. And then what I normally do is I'll rearrange it using plants from around my garden. We've got Linaria, that's self-seeded. Cut that off the base, that's not going to come back. Now with this, there's nothing I can do. It's not worth keeping any of this foliage. So I'm just going to chop it right back at the base. But I'm not going to dig these ferns out now. I'll wait until much later in the autumn to do that, because I want the height of this tub. I want to use this tub to display something else. That's a weed. Right, I've got a nice foxglove in there coming up. He can stay, he's very welcome. The Linaria also looks pretty, just self-seeded Linaria in amongst it. Right, and something like that tub, and you can only do this with plants that aren't going to regrow. So I don't want to crush this little foxglove here, but nothing is going to happen with these ferns. They're not going to suddenly spring back to life this year, but I can use the tub, leave it in situ, and use the tub to display that beautiful hydrangea, which is looking beautiful. Right, so I hope you agree it's already looking much better than it was, because everything that's left is either lovely and fresh, or it isn't too bad. You know, I don't mind the copperiness of that acer. I think that hydrangea looks lovely in there. So even if I was really pushed for time and I thought, right, that's all I've got time for now, I could just pull some of these tubs to the forefront and leave it, and it would look better than it did 5 minutes ago. But I think I can make it a lot better than this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull everything out, give it a brush, sweep all the dead debris out. So what I'm excited about doing now is to actually pull some of these plants forward and sort of showcase them more. So this box here, I know for a fact that he is really quite large, but he's sort of squashed into the corner there, up against the acer, and he's looked beautiful. But if I pull him out and showcase him, he has a beauty all of his own, and it'll help. I'll just sort of shuffle things around a bit and fill in the gaps. The other thing I'm thinking of doing is taking my big tree fern down and maybe putting him in the middle of the display. I'm sorry that this is sort of in the way, but you can't move it. I can't take it out. So yes, take him down, and I'm thinking to put this acer on the table in his place. What I would say is that if you've got anything really heavy, I mean, look at the size of the pots, full of soil and established little trees there, and that tree fern, I know from experience, weighs an absolute ton. So please don't try and move things yourself that you know are going to be far too heavy for you. So I'm going to get someone to help me to lift this down and then lift that up, because if I tried to do it myself, A, I don't think I could, but B, if I hurt my back, I'd probably put myself out of action for weeks, and I would just be furious with myself. Right, so with my husband's help, I've put the acer up there and I've put the tree fern down there, but I think that this fond here may catch on the washing, and also I've learned from experience that any fonds that touch the wall get dieback, they go brown. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to turn this table round sideways. It was down there. I'm going to turn it round sideways and put the tree fern over there and just try that. This process is very organic. It's not planned out. I don't think you could. You just have to keep trying different plants in different situations to see if you like them. Also, I have no spatial awareness, or very little, so I always think that plants will fit somewhere where they definitely don't. I always think I've got more space than I have. Right. Put the table up against the wall. For anyone who hasn't seen my plant stand video, I just use everything and anything that's lying around. I buy lots of things in charity shops, old tables and crates and all sorts. And then this year I painted them all blacks because I just want the table or whatever to blend into the background. I don't want to see that. Right, let's have a look. Well, I definitely like him there. I'm going to try the tree fern here. Right, let's have a look. I've never actually had him in that position. But, you know, I think he's going to work. What I have to remember is I have to get this outside tap, and so does anybody else who uses the outside tap. So my daughter will come here to use it to hose the dog down or whatever, and anything delicate in this area is likely to get snapped. So they would have to come round here. No, that's not going to work. Right, so I'm not liking the tree fern over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty this area out here. And there's a slight little step there in front of the drain. I'm going to try the tree fern over here. Oh yeah, quite like that. Yes, I do. I'm happy with that. Because the tree ferns, fawns aren't up against anything. I can still see the different colours of my aces. Right, so I'm happy with that. Leave that well alone. So I think I'm going sort of oranges, reds, greens. So I think I've put this ace here. That looks lovely, doesn't it? So I haven't got as many plants to play with, but as I say, it sort of showcases them better when they've got more room. Right, and then over here in this corner, I think I'll put that table back the way it was. So this is the area at the front of my garage where I keep plants that I buy that are destined for different areas of the garden. So you can see I've got lots of lovely little heucheras along there, and then I've got even more heucheras down here. So I've got this lovely selection of baby heucheras, all different colours, and if I put them here, they're always visible, and I'll always remember to water them, look after them. That's a gorgeous one. They're all gorgeous. I love heucheras. Such good value for money. So now I need to focus on this area here. So I think the water feature's okay, the ace is okay. I think I'm going to put this big acer up here. And then last but by no means least, the heuchera ladder here. So I think we'll just leave this for today. That's a job in itself. Quite like these seed heads off these heucheras down here, but the ones along the top could do with replacing. So that is a beautiful trailing geranium, and that's just a lovely variegated one. But I think we'll just continue the heuchera theme. Right, so now I'll give you the ta-da moment. The newly tidied out and refreshed courtyard area. So I hope you agree, that looks so much better. And what I'm going to do now is I'll give all of these plants a nice water, and I'll put some soluble food in the water. Just looks lovely. So I hope you can agree, even these fronds of this fern here, even though they're sort of speckled and going rusty, it still looks beautiful, and I'm hoping that that will age gracefully. All my little baby heucheras there. Now these have been at the front of the garage, and I have enjoyed them there. But it's a bit like moving things around in your house. You move something to a different position and you really notice it. Love this grass. I've had him for years. That's my white garden through there, and that little garden through there. So if you've enjoyed this video, you might like to come back and have a look at my white garden video. Oh, I've got one rogue plant left there, waiting for my secateurs. This one is a lovely new heuchera I bought this year, green spice. He just needs a haircut, and that looks good. So there we go. I'm very pleased with what I've got done today. If it's the first time you've visited my garden, I'd love you to come back, and it's just my videos on me just pottering around the garden doing different areas. I will be freshening up the white garden next. So until next time everyone, thank you so much for watching, and happy gardening. Bye!